to the big show.
Hey, this is Jewel Tanker from the Jewel Tankard Show on Impact Network every Saturday. Or you can check out me and my family, the Tankers, on Prime Amazon or Chatter Talk Show on Fox Soul with my girls, Dr. Dee Dee Freeman, Monique, Eyelet Mosley, Real Talk Kim, and Holly Carter. And you're watching Rude Rangers TV.
You guys, I think I'm going to try not to cry because this is a 360 moment for me. But I am so honored to have this next guest on for you guys. I know her, but I want you guys, you've seen her, you've heard her voice, you've seen her gorgeous face, and I am proud to welcome to Let's Talk with Lela, the one and only Vonciele Faggett. Hello, Von.
Well, hello there. I'm so glad we're getting this done.
Yes, this, you guys, this has been a long time in the making. So I am honored. She is taking time away from her rehearsal to perform for the President of the United States and the Vice President. So you guys, you have no idea what this means to me. Von, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, though.
Wait a minute, you guys. I tell Von, I resort or reverse back to my 12-year-old self when I first met Von. Every time I see her and I turn into a little kid, but I'm going to try to be grown today and conduct this interview. And I'm going to try not to cry. Everybody knows I cry because it's such an emotional, all of this platform is so emotional for me because I get to honor people that I admire, that I absolutely adore, and so this is for you. And I'm going to try not to cry. I think this is my third time saying it, so hopefully it won't happen. But if it does, bear with me. Von, everyone, I said this is Vonciele. I know her as Von, Auntie Von. So I want to, let's go over your career from when you first, Von is a supporting vocalist for so many major performers. She is a major performer. And I want to go back to your childhood. I know a little bit about this, but when did you get your start singing? Where did that fire in you start to want to sing?
I'd have to say that it was at like 5 or so when my dad, being a pastor, at his church, and they stood me on the table, where they do offering and stuff, and I sang a song, and everybody seemed to just love it. And it made me feel good. I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. I loved singing, but I never thought of it as a career. I always thought of it as a hobby and something that I loved. And I always thought I would just be doing it, pretty casually, maybe at a birthday party or, at church, stuff like that, but never on the platform that the Lord has opened up for me. I never thought it would be that.
And it is a platform. I have seen you with by yourself. And Von, you have one of the clearest, strongest powerful voices. I can recognize your voice when you're performing. And that's a whole lot of people you will be with, but I recognize your voice. Now, you say that, at 5 years old, you started singing at your dad's church. And then from there, where did you go?
I would say at high school level, like 10th, 11th grade, one of my friends told me about the group, the Young Americans, mm-hmm. and set up a personal audition for me because she was going to be leaving. And I didn't know who they were, what they were, or what they did at all. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the audition, and then they were kind of like, wow, you kind of got talent. You got a little bit of talent here. And I was like, to me, I guess if you say that. And they were like, okay, we're going to call you. They didn't start until the fall, which is September, when the school year started.
Explain who the Young Americans
They're a group that was kind of like up with people, and they went around the country spreading love, American basketball and the whole bit. Mm-hmm. Sang for a lot of, in that group, I had the privilege of meeting a lot of entertainers. We worked with Sammy Davis Jr., Bing Cosby on one of his Christmas specials. Just a lot of stuff like that. But they would usually send the group, we would go out of the country, basically promoting classic good American love and peace and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They were that kind of group. And they performed, like I said, pretty much everywhere, doing a 2-hour concert. It's kind of like a high school choir, but it was just on a bigger and a grander scale. A lot of the choreographer, the director there, Milton Anderson, they had a lot of connects with the industry itself. Mm-hmm. So that's what put us in a lot of situations. And actually, as the kids that came from out of the country, out of the state, they actually got college credit for being a part of Young Americans.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I think, was Patty and Reggie in Young American?
Yes, they were. After I got in, I told all my friends, and it was like, oh, you need to come and be a part of this group, because I learned so much there, about performing and about the stage. So yeah, I told Patty, I told Reggie, I even told Donald Taylor.
Donald!
Yeah, just a lot of my friends, it's like, oh, you should come and check it out, see if you want to kind of be a part of this. Because I learned a lot of musicianship. I learned a lot of stage stuff there, basically how to, work the stage, how to put it together, put a show up. Mm-hmm. But as well as performing, and really projecting musicianship, it helped build a lot of that for me, because I wasn't a strong musician or reader or anything. My brother played and stuff. So I felt like I didn't have to, because I had him to play for me or do stuff for me. My mom played. So that wasn't like a thing for me. I just did it just to kind of get by, because we all had to take piano lessons and stuff like that. But I learned a lot there that has helped me throughout my years being in the industry.
Right. So you learned how to be an entertainer. Mm-hmm. Is that the best way? Okay. Yeah. And then from there, from Young American, take us from Young American.
I actually, while I was in Young Americans, met a guy who was a good friend still to this day, works in the city council, kind of in Long Beach, California, where I am from. Mm-hmm. And he introduced us to, my family, my dad and my brother and myself, to Martha Reeves of Martha and the Dallas. Mm-hmm. And I ended up started singing with her. She asked my parents if I could go on the road with her. My brother played for her for a little while.
Now, how old were you when you started? That was your first entertainment job?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I had to probably be about maybe 18.
Okay.
You know, but she still met my parents and asked them about going, you know, if I could really go, because I had never really been anywhere, basically. So that was an experience, you know, because I grew up on the Motown music.
Right.
I loved all the Motown sound, you know, with Martha and the Vandellas, Smokey Robinson and Miracles, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Gladys Knight, Mary Wells. I grew up on all that music, so I was like floored to meet her. And then it was like, what? I'm gonna get to go and work with you?
Like,
wow. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And I think our first gig was down in San Diego. And it was just a trip. I was like, wow, I'm actually gonna work with this, you know, legend, because it, you know, that was the Motown era and stuff. So that was kind of like my first introduction to real showbiz. You know, was working with her.
And then from Martha Reeves, where did you go? Take us
from Martha, I think from there, I believe, met a guy. His name was Benjamin Wright. His name is Benjamin Wright. He's still alive. And started doing sessions, recording sessions in LA for a lot of, you know, Silvers, you know, Tabaris, you know, did the song with the Commodores, you know, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
That's right. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So started doing all kinds of session work for a lot of different people, which helped me see another side of the industry, how all that stuff came about, records, you know, making records and stuff like that. I mean, did so many of those. A lot of them I have pretty much forgotten. So I usually, that's why I keep Alfie and Patty around, because they'll remind me of, and I'll be like, oh, we did that? Okay. That sounds good. Because I've forgotten a lot of the early, you know, people who, you know, records and stuff that we were on and stuff. Ended up meeting Billy Preston through his sister Rodina. And started working with Billy on the road and stuff. Then ended up and he did a lot. Billy did a lot. Now that I see it and I'm looking back on it, we did a lot of things together. I did a lot of stuff with him. Then moved on to Gino Vanelli.
Now, you know, let me tell you something. Don't play with me, Vaughn. you know, Gino Vanelli is, that right there, that's my heart, because he looks so good. And that song, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's his music that is so powerful.
He's a good looking guy.
He is. And I think all of us, being women and men, we were swooning with that song. I Just Want to Stop.
Yes.
And he had so many great hits. And I knew you were singing with him. And I've never asked you this. Didn't he just smell good?
Yes. He really did. I mean, he was, he was a handsome guy. I mean, and I would watch the ladies throwing their clothes up on stage. That was shocking. I mean, we would be looking and I'd be like, they're like throwing clothing on the stage to him, because that's how sexy he was and that's how good looking he was.
Did he know it?
He wasn't, I think he knew he was okay looking, but he was very much not believing his own height. He was a very down to earth kind of person. And this was the first time he had basically had vocals on the road, you know, and it was females at that.
Right.
So very accommodating. He was very much a gentleman, you know, in doing that, made sure we were taking care of everything. I mean, it was a great tour. I loved it. The Brother to Brother tour. Loved that tour. Loved that guy. Still love his music. And every now and then I'll run into stuff that he's doing or one of his brothers or something.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yes. Okay. Now I'm leading us. So from Gino, where did you go?
After Gino, ended up meeting through the guy that put us through sessions, Benjamin Wright. He introduced us, me, Alfie, and Patty, to Gladys Knight.
Yep.
And she was looking for an artist, for singers, for an artist she was managing at the time. And he was getting ready to do a telethon. And it was going to happen during the nighttime. So it was like, we were just going to go and do a pre-record. And we were like, oh my God, Gladys Knight, are you kidding? Because I am such a fan. And still to this day, I'm a fan. Love some Gladys Knight, everything about, just vocally the best.
Right.
So it was like, oh my God. When I first saw her, it was like, oh my God, there she is. And it was like, okay, calm down. Just try to be calm. But it was like, oh my God. You know, hi. Just a fan. But she is so down to earth. Just mellow and cool. Another person that does not understand who they are. Right. And even to this day, and I keep telling, you're a legend. She's like, huh? What do you mean? I was like, it's okay, because I know, and I'm letting everybody know she's a legend. She's a superstar. Class act. So she heard us sing, you know, he was doing this song. So we listened to the song, and we kind of, between the three of us, was like, okay, we'll do, you know, where do you want to place it? And she was like, okay, you guys ready? Because we never actually rehearsed the song. She's like, are you guys ready? She never heard a note. And we were like, oh yes, we're ready. You can just play the track and, you know, we're good. And we kind of sang it down, maybe had to do it one more time, basically because not really hearing the arrangement of where it was going. Right. Stuff. So we like did it in like a take or two. And she was like, who are you guys? Where have you been? And we were like, you know, we've been doing some clubs and stuff, you know, we're basically from Compton. And she was like, wow, it's like, you guys are really good. So you've been working around. It's like, yeah, we've been doing some clubs and stuff. It's like, I'd love to come and hear you all, because I mean, I just can't believe it. We were like, okay, yeah, she wants to come and hear us. Within a week, the guy's manager called us and he says, she wants to come and hear you guys. Are you guys performing somewhere? We're like, yeah. We were at a club in Carson at this hotel. And it's like, yeah, so we're there. And he's like, okay, what nights? It's like, okay, we're going to come and see. And we were like, sure, right. Okay. He's going to come and see. She showed up.
What'd you say?
And we were like, I can't believe she's here at this club. And set through a set that we did. And afterwards, she was like, you know, she wanted to talk to us. She was like, you guys are really good. She was like, wow, what is your plans? I mean, what do you want to do and stuff? So we started telling her, you know, what our aspirations were. And at that point, we wanted to do lounges in Vegas. That's kind of what we wanted, you know, the lounges and stuff. Like, we just want to go to Vegas and do that kind of thing. Because Vegas was still doing dinner shows and stuff like that. Right. That's kind of what we wanted to do. She was like, yeah, well, you guys, she's just like, you can do it, whatever, because you're very good. You sound great, you know. She was like, wow. Told us that our band, she's like, your band is not as good as you are. You kind of need a better band. She said, because they just didn't, for her, come up to par with what we were doing, I guess, vocally and show wise. She said, but that's nothing. But yeah, you guys are great. She says, well, you know, we'll be calling you. We'll definitely be calling you all, you know, about some stuff. We're like, okay, we've heard that before. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. And in like 2 or 3 days, the manager called us and was like, okay, well, you know, we want you to come to Vegas and, sing behind this guy. And we found out she had convinced his manager. She's like, you need to have those 3 girls. You need them as a part of your show. And he was kind of like, well, really? Well, I can't. He says, well, 2, I'd never thought about it. You need all 3 of those girls in your show, and you need to figure it out. You need to do it. And he called us, and then we went to Vegas, and she hosted us, for that weekend.
Wow.
Went and bought us outfits to wear in his show.
What?
Yes. I mean, took us in. She actually too called our parents to see if it was okay if we come out, and on the road with her. And she took the responsibility. They'll be in my care and, that whole bit. But yeah, she asked our parents if she could, and she did. She kept an eye on us. We were pretty much at her house most of the time, not out of her sight. She treated us like her kids.
Oh my goodness.
It was great. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Meeting the Pips, it was like, oh my God, this is like the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, who does this? This is it.
Yes.
It was such a great experience.
Yes.
And from there, basically, she's kept us close. She never let us out of her sight. Whenever she worked anywhere close, Reno or in Vegas, we were usually there. She would talk to us about the industry, tell us about, what to expect, everything. She was the one that named the 3 of us Saw Fire.
That's what I was waiting on you to say. That's what I was waiting on you to say.
Yeah, she just really vested in us.
Right.
As people, as well as, being a part of the group and the industry and stuff. She, negotiated some deals for us, because record companies started really pursuing us.
Right.
And she would kind of handle that to make sure we weren't taken advantage of and,
right.
All that kind of stuff. She became just a great friend and mentor. And I tell you, since meeting her, I've learned a lot in watching her, because I would basically sit on the side of the stage and be like this. Watching every move, everything that she did, hearing everything that she sang. I was like breathing everything about her, because I was like, this woman, oh my God. She just commands that,
right.
Her and the Pips. Just so polished, just so.
Yes.
I was just floored. I was like, okay, we've kind of reached royalty at this point. Right. Meeting her, and it's been, in that, it just opened so many other doors. The Lord just really opened some doors, especially for me, because like I said, I never thought of this as a career. I always thought it would be a hobby, something that I love to do, and would do it at birthday parties, at churches, funerals, whatever people would invite me, to a tea, to a whatever. That's what I thought that I would end up doing. My passion was to go to school and to become a teacher.
Oh, Ron, that would be so sweet.
On an elementary school level, because I like kids. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what my passion was, and still, even with all this showing up all the time and doing all this stuff that, I was doing, I just still never thought of it as a career. It was like, but you're making money. This is kind of, it's like a job, that you're doing and stuff. Some kind of way. Well, actually, it was through a guy that worked with James Cleveland. Eddie Kendricks, he took us under his wing too. We ended up being in the original movie Sparkle.
Yes.
With Irene Cara and stuff.
Yes.
We were actually in the beginning, the opening, the funeral, but we also did the soundtrack to that, worked on the recording of that. That was my first basic meeting of Aretha Franklin. which I was like, there again, this is cause I grew up on her music.
Yes.
Followed her because she was in the church, preacher's kid and the whole thing, so that was common for me. It's like, I'm a preacher's kid.
Right.
This is a preacher's kid, and she's made a whole career of music, and I mean, she's just phenomenal.
Yes.
So, being able to see that in the studio, I believe that God just had a certain path for me.
Yes, ma'am.
And even though it wasn't the path that I thought, with school and education and stuff, I was still learning and being educated. And my parents were so behind that.
Oh, yes.
They weren't like most parents, like, music, that's not a job. That's not a career. You need to get a real job. You need to do something. They were not like that. I mean, my dad sang, and he sang in a quartet. He sang with the Swan Silvertones. He sang.
Wait a minute. Are you serious? I did not know this.
Yeah, with Sam Cooke and that.
Yes, you know. Oh, come on now. Know. I did not know this.
Yeah, growing up, we followed quartets because he sang, and
right.
That's pretty much where I would be, as a little kid, 5 and 6 years old, watching them, perform all the time.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get. I'm trying to let you build up the story. Because I'm gonna keep letting you build up the story until we get to Gary. When Gary formed, okay. So,
and it was actually during that time when I first got in Young Americans was when he formed his first group.
Okay, now wait a minute. Gary is your brother.
Yes.
Incredible man. He was just. Well, I will tell you, every time I saw him, from when I was a little girl to one of the last times I saw him, he always gave me a big old hug.
Yeah.
And I was just stunned that he would still remember me.
Of course. I mean, that's part of kind of who we are.
Right.
My parents were Southern. My mom was from Louisiana. My dad's from Texas. Yeah. So we got that upbringing of, people that you saw. Then it was like, hey, how you doing? You pretty much would remember who they were. Even if you didn't remember the name, it was still like, hey, yeah, how you doing? You such and such. What's that? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Now you were saying that even in Young American, you and Gary.
Yes. He had formed his group then. The Gary Faggett Ensemble. Well, actually, between 5 and 12, he was doing. We would sing at my dad's church. So different singers that came through the church, we formed. We had it was like 4 singers, and we would go out and do different programs, and get on people's programs on Sundays and stuff like that, and following singing in the music thing, because he was a big Edwin Hawkins, James Cleveland. He loved all of that. He even knew who Andre Crouch was when I had no clue.
Really?
And when I met him, I knew his music, but it was like I didn't know this was the guy.
Right.
At all, because I met them during high school. And they did a thing at Beverly Hills High, and they needed these choir members. His keyboard player was one of the musicians at our church, Frankie Cole.
I miss Frankie so badly.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was at Andre's service. And we were doing the rehearsal for the choir and all of that. And I love hearing how all of you guys that I looked up to and admiring and how you all are connected. I'm loving hearing this. That's why I'm letting you talk. I'm letting you talk and tell the story.
And it's funny because, when I think back and I look back on it now and I go, wow, there was definitely a thread. And I just thought I was going willy-nilly, just getting into the situation. But it's like, no, God ordained this from the beginning. And I see that really as I got my relationship closer to the Lord, I see that God, this was ordained from, the beginning. I thought I was, I had control and I was going to do stuff that I wanted to do, but he was like, no, I've got a path for you, in music. And I was like, wow, I love it. Love it. Yeah. So meeting all these people in the industry, because my brother got, from my dad, we ended up just following all the stuff that was going on in Southern California.
Right.
Which was James Cleveland Choir, the LA Community Choir.
Yes.
All these groups that were from LA,
right?
We ended up following them every time there was a concert.
Right.
We was probably the first ones in the door.
Right.
He fell in love with the music, with gospel music.
Yes. Yes.
And he started dragging me along. Basically, that's what was happening. Because I didn't have we're like 2.5 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really knowing a lot as far as the industry and music, but he was really into that. So he was just dragging me around. I was going and just reaping all of this, meeting all these people and getting ready to hearing all these people. He even got me into LA Community Choir, Harrison Johnson.
Yes.
And I sang with them for a little while. Just met a lot of great people, in LA following the music scene.
Right.
Because that's kind of what he was really into, just really playing and stuff. Because he started playing at a church when he was 7 years old.
Stop it. 7?
At one of my dad's friends' church. They had a church and they were just organizing. And he's been playing at churches since he's like 7 years old.
Oh my goodness. And then he created this ensemble and it contained, the members of this ensemble are all superstars.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he just kind of put that thing together. Meeting Alfie when I was in junior high school. Yeah, because we were at 2 different high schools, but her brother and my brother and sister and stuff went to the same high school, Centennial High School, and that was a common place where we kind of met because she came there for a talent show. My brother was playing for a lot of people in the talent show, but he had put me in the talent show.
He put you in.
Yeah, basically made me with some of his friends because I was just in junior high school. I wasn't in high school, so it was like, I'm gonna put you in with the guys that he had, his friends and stuff. We were actually, it's funny, we were Gladys Knight and the Pips. It was when I was in high school, but when I was in the 9th grade there, and I went to the talent show, I actually did an Aretha Franklin song.
Wow.
And I actually won the talent show.
What? Of course you did. You better. Okay.
They had some great singers there though. And actually the girl that was in high school who was known for stuff, it became a thing because it was her senior year, and she felt like I should not have won first place because it was her senior year, and and I was like, that's fine to me because I'm just doing what I like doing.
Right.
And I was like, I can take second. It's not a big deal for me.
Look at this.
Knowing how, your senior year, you want to get all these things, and stuff, all this stuff to remember. So I didn't have a problem because I was surprised, that I even won. I didn't think I would, but I was very surprised that I did. So it was like, and I was nervous, and I was like, I'm good. I don't want all this attention.
Right. Don't want no smoke. Don't want no smoke.
No. So y'all can do whatever you need to do. I'm happy to know that I won because that just made me feel good about keep doing kind of what I'm doing. That's kind of what it made me feel like. So I was just happy in that. And that's kind of where I met Alfie at that talent show. She was there.
Uh-huh.
And then when we got to Centennial in the 10th grade, she was like, "Oh my God, you were singing at that talent show." And I was like, "Yeah." Because and then that year she entered the talent show with 2 of her friends.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it was like, oh, okay, so, and that's kind of how we met in the music department at Centennial. When my brother graduated, because he was in the 12th grade, I was in the 10th grade. So when he graduated out of in the 12th grade, the school district hired him to come back, so he became the choir teacher.
Stop it.
And we would hang out in his room all the time.
Girl, stop it.
That's where we would ditch class at. And we'd hang out in the music room all day long, just singing and stuff. Wow. Those were some good days, some fun days.
Okay, now then from there, where did you go?
His group actually got a lot of attention from a lot of people. James Cleveland, the Hawkins of the North and stuff. And we started doing, we were on concerts and stuff with them for many years.
With James, I remember Dorothy Estes. Remember Dorothy Estes? I remember her singing with James Cleveland. And we started going over to, remember the church was off of Western? Was it what? No, Normandy and Western, wasn't it? It was in that old Savon's shopping center.
Yeah.
And
originally he was up on Washington and what was the street? St. Andrews or something like that when he first started, which was where she recorded Amazing Grace.
Yes, Lord.
That
and I was going to touch upon that when you brought her up. That album is, the genius of that album. When she was singing, my favorite part of Mary Don't You Weep, when the background singers are, and that I will play that part over and over again because it cuts in at the right moment when she sings that. And then it's like, people don't understand. And that's why I'm having you explain it, because your whole process of leading up and how everything is so put together in things that you just, I get flustered trying, because I get so excited, and amazing how from even when you're recording, being in the recording sessions with you guys and seeing how, remember The Color Purple, when you're singing that, you got Quincy Jones going to everybody's listening, and you're like, you don't understand, you're Quincy Jones coming over and you want people to really sing. Don't nobody in front of you. Like you are not Quincy Jones. And then even, when Sandra, and we haven't gotten to Sandra, that part yet, but even in the recording sessions, and I remember Sandra would come over and she would put her ear to my mouth, and I'm like, Lord, why are you trying to kill me like this? How do you expect me to sing in where I know you listen? So at that point, like when you have Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, Billy Preston, James Cleveland, all of these incredible singers that you're at home listening to, now they're listening to you. And they're like, okay, you sound good. Okay, I like you. What did that do to you when that happened?
I still was in shock. I wasn't believing. I was like, really? I guess I must, because they keep asking me to come be a part of stuff, But I felt great. But like I said, still not thinking career. This is just something that I do on, in my pastime, or, this is not career. And then as I begin to build that momentum, was like, wait a minute. can't go to school now because I'm ending up doing more, all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't have time to be at school, learning what I'm supposed to be learning for my career
Mhm.
in teaching.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, I might have to put this on hold for a minute, and I ended up right after high school and joining Young Americans. They asked me to come out on a tour.
Mhm.
And that's what made me go, wait a minute, but school, I'm trying to do this. And okay, I'll come and do that because that's just going to only be like a couple of months.
Right.
And I'll
right.
get into the next semester of school and,
Mhm.
I'll be okay. And I can get, some credit from going and doing this,
Mhm.
stuff. And I went up to Michigan to their summer stock theater.
Mhm.
And I think we did 4 musicals while we were there. I was a part of Godspell and
Really?
yeah, I did musical theater, and I like doing that,
Mhm.
but it takes a whole lot of work doing that.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think I want to do all of that, learning the lines, you got to learn placement, you got to, all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Because after that, I auditioned for some musicals that were coming to town in LA. But I was like, that's a whole lot of work.
Oh.
I think I just like going and showing up at the studio,
Yes.
singing behind the mic. And, after a couple hours, I can come home. I don't have to remember nothing but some notes, some lyrics, whatever. People are not watching. So, we'd have a music stand with notes on it. So we remember what we were singing. Like, that's easier than all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do that more and not do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't. I did my last audition for The Wiz and was like, I don't even care how it comes out. I don't think I want to do this. That just puts a lot on you, know. So, more sessions started happening.
Mm-hmm.
Doing more recordings, more albums and stuff for people, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
You surrendered to God's plan for you. You just finally said, okay.
I'm kind of locked into this. I guess I should just go on with it. See where it's going to take me.
Right. It's like, okay, Lord, okay.
I'm going to ride this for a while, but right now it's hot, but it'll probably die out. I'll get a chance to go back and do what I want to do, and momentum start getting faster and more and more. You're meeting different people, and like, and then, the people you meet, they're passing your name on to people, and it just kind of, does that. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Now we're, when we met Andre at the high school thing, did the thing, and he was kind of like, wow, y'all got a pretty good sound and stuff. Because it was most of my brother's group that, we went with. There was probably about 8 or 9 of us that kind of joined up, with this. Y'all got a pretty good sound and stuff. It was like, wow, well, thank you, so much. Like I said, I didn't know. I knew the blood.
Right.
And I knew To God Be the Glory.
Right.
But I didn't know this was the guy.
I know.
I did not, I mean, I didn't think that one of us wrote that song, because it was most of the white churches sang his stuff.
Isn't that shocking? Growing up, and I'm like, and you know what was really the first time I truly knew I was surrounded by greatness, seeing the songs in the hymn books at church.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Yes. I was like, this is the guy. When my brother was telling me, it's like, oh, see, you don't know. It's like, he wrote and we were singing the blood at church. And I was like, this is the guy that wrote that? I was like, oh my God.
Right. And you already know all of the songs, the lyrics. You know all of this because you've been singing it at church all this time.
Yeah. And got there and was like, wow, okay, that's great. That I got a chance to meet him and stuff. And it ended up being about 3 or 4 years later that we actually ended up crossing paths again. And this time kind of, coming, working and stuff. Like I said, meeting people in the industry, them, connecting and passing your numbers on and, that kind of thing. It's like it came all the way back around to Andre Crouch.
Right. Imagine that.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, the guy that I didn't know at all, and Andre being so down to earth.
Yes.
That's what I couldn't get to either, because he's just so down to earth, and he just likes talking and just being himself, talking about the Lord and stuff. I mean, just plain old conversation. I was like, wow, this man. I was like, okay, this man. Wow, he just plain old people. Just plain old people. Yes.
And so he started. And remember, my mom would always make them food and bring it over to the house. And
indeed,
it was just you go, wait a minute. And the thing, what about the moment you become comfortable being around these same people whose albums at that time you would have at home, and you remember every house had the albums cover sitting on decorations, like pictures sitting up next to the next to the record player. Those were decorations, and you're like, at this moment, I'm sitting across from the table, or I'm sitting around hitting, laughing, and just breaking bread with people, and you're so comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's like that moment when it hits you, it's almost when you're doing this, you're like, laughing at the joke, really gut laughing, and then you lean back up, come back up from that lean to laugh, and then you go, wait a minute, I'm sitting here with so-and-so who I grew up listening to, and we over here having a good time, talking about stuff. They talking about people like the other people that you consider superstar, like it's nothing. And then you see these people either coming to church or they over at the house, and it's like, they common folks too. Right. I mean, it was like, oh my God, people are just so. I couldn't believe, it being introduced into his world, with people and stuff, got the privilege to work with Pastor Sandra, his twin sister, on her first project, Oh my God.
I was like, really? I mean, my brother was there with her, instrumental in that. Like I said, I'm the tag along.
Yes.
So I'd be there while they're working on music and stuff, and doing stuff, and of course be the one, okay, well, Vaughn, sing this, so they could hear how this is gonna sound and stuff, and sing along and do stuff. But I'm sitting around while we're creating this stuff.
And again,
that got a Grammy.
Yes. Do you know that still blows my mind? Do you? And I'm, it's like, we can say that. How do you? And it's like, how do you make this a part of? Accept that you, me, everybody else is sitting there. We performed on a Grammy Award-winning songs, and it's like, how is it, Lord, that I'm a part of that? How?
Right. It's like I was sitting in that living room while we was making up parts.
Do you know? No, I remember that, and I was like, I think I still have some of the handwritten notes from writing this stuff, when she was changing it, and putting it together, and it's like, this stuff could go in the Smithsonian.
Yes, indeed.
And Sandra told me too, because she said all of my stuff, all of these awards and all, it's going in the Smithsonian. And I'm like, I'm talking to you, even you. I'm like, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to them, and it's like we were around all these folks.
Yes.
And that connection, I still can't even put it in the words. How incredible. But what you said is like, God has a plan for you. And
Yeah.
no matter how much you don't recognize it or flow with it and let God do His will,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's gonna always come around to what God has planned for you. But it's just funny because, like you said, your plan was to be a teacher.
Yeah.
But God had something else. He kept from 5 years old. He said, "You're ready. You're ready."
Right.
When most 5-year-olds just want to go outside and play.
Exactly. Exactly.
God said, "Okay, I'm gonna start you now." And think about it. He knew that He was going to do that before you were even born.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And I thought, at that age, me and my brother, because he learned to play like at about 3 or 4, somewhere in there. He started sitting at the piano and he could play a little bit. My mom was like, "Okay, he can play a little bit. He's kind of talented. Let's see where that's gonna go." I mean, he would hear something and he could sit down and just play it from what he heard. And she was like amazed at that, and she was like, "Nah, that can't be it." So she sat down and she played something else. And he pretty much went and picked it out and played it. But at that age, because what we knew was church, because that's all we were going to. And like I said, we followed the quartets and stuff. So, you were just saying, most kids at that age want to go outside and play.
Right.
That's what we would do come Mondays. We had a piano from the church, from my dad's church, the old piano, because they had gotten a new one, in our garage. That's where we would go out there and we would play church. And we mimic what we saw on Sunday. All of the singing, the dynamics of that, the dramatics, the preaching, all of that. That's how we played.
Oh my goodness, Vaughn. Look at that.
I look at it now and I go, wow, that, I wasn't just wanting to play hopscotch. We played what we actually saw. And that's what helped to cultivate what God was putting in us.
Right.
As far as ministry and stuff like that, because we would take turns and preach. Because that, this is what we heard on Sunday. So we preach like the preacher was preaching on Sunday morning. And, back then they had so many antics, they throw a handkerchief and stuff. And we was doing all of that, playing tambourine and shouting. Because this is what we saw, and this is what cultivated us into being, a part of ministry.
Right.
Which is first ministry.
Yes.
But then the career of music,
yes,
and all the other things was shaped after that. But he was really instilling in us the ministry of it. At that early age, I didn't realize that at all. And as I sometimes now sit and look back and I go, wow, I'll think back to an age and I go, God, even then, you had your hand on
yes,
me.
Yes.
Even when I was in a situation of being, being out on the road with all these groups and stuff, you had your hand on me.
That's right.
And you had me there for a reason.
Yes. Yes.
I was there for a reason. It was those uncommon places that you were really moving in my life. It wasn't necessarily attached to church.
Right, right.
It was in those situations that God moved.
Yes.
Because me and Alfie got filled with the Holy Spirit while we were out on tour with Gino Vanelli.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Got filled with the Holy Ghost in the hotel room while we were out on that tour. And I know it was God ordained and God sent. Because even when I left to go out on that tour and was leaving the church that we had I didn't grow up in that church. I went there at like 12 or 13 because my brother started playing for the church. I followed. So I ended up not being at my dad's church because he still had a church at that point. But I followed him to go and be a part of the choir and direct and do all that kind of stuff. And getting that with Gino Vanelli and going out on the road was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
but I had this hunger and thirst because I kept going, God, there's got to be more to this church thing than just hellfire and brimstone.
Right.
Prodigal son, because that seemed like all they was teaching.
Right. Right.
And I was like, there has got to be more than this. I'm gonna need you to show me a little bit more to what's going on, because I just felt like I needed more.
Right.
And it's interesting to see that I found it there. Meeting a model who was on the cover of magazines and everything, who was a Christian. Found her way backstage with all the security and everything at one of the after parties, and sat down with me and Alfie and was like, do y'all know the Lord and stuff?
Real.
This is a real different place to talk about that. And it's like, yeah, grew up in church, but you saved, filled with the Holy Ghost. Well, no, been going to a Baptist church. It's like they didn't really condone that, but I always felt like it's something. I need somebody to explain that to me. Right. I still felt that what they were it's like that's not sitting right with me. So I just need somebody to really explain it so I understand it, if it's right for me or if it's not right. But I just need somebody to explain it. She sat and explained it. That she started explaining that night and asked if we wanted to meet the next day to go to have lunch in Greektown. And we were like, oh yeah, it's a day off for us. Let's do that. And went and she talked with us, basically told us how to receive the Holy Spirit. And I mean, right there in Greektown, we're sitting there and, she's administering the Holy Spirit. When we got back to the hotel room that night, we had experiences. The next morning, me and Alfie both was like, oh, let me tell you what happened last night. I'm in my room and all of a sudden this language starts coming forth because I'm asking the Lord, and trying to understand what she was telling us all that day. And all of a sudden this language starts coming forth and I'm going, oh my God. Oh, wow. And I'm running to tell Alfie, guess what? And she's like, oh my God, I had this experience last night.
Oh my goodness.
Spirit. And, she was like, he was just turning and dipping me. And then I began to speak in this language. I was like, you too? Oh my God. Oh, it was incredible to be out there.
Yes.
And for that kind of experience. So it's like, oh man, I can't wait to tell my brother. And I can't, who he was kind of like I was, but he did not believe in it because that's what they kept teaching. And he really caught on to that. And so he was like, that's not something for us for today. And ends up during in that week's time, he ended up getting filled with the Holy Spirit.
Stop it. Are you serious?
And when I called him, he was like, yeah, I ended up with Bam Crawford, her husband at the time. Ended up, he was at a Bible study at the Faith Dome, because they were at the Faith Dome.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, Crenshaw Christian Center on Crenshaw there.
Yes.
And he ended up getting filled with the Holy Spirit. And I was like, you're what? So we were all excited and talking about that. Then, the whole group, his whole group, Donald, everybody had an experience. Patty, everybody that it was like, are you kidding me?
It was
ordained for that time and place for us to all, experience that together,
Yes, ma'am.
And when I tell that to people now, it's like, I'm out on a rock and roll tour. And I received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. If that ain't crazy, but if that's not how God is, one of my pastor friends told me that, God moves in the most uncommon places.
Yes, he does.
And I said, yeah, that was very uncommon. I to this day, I'm like, but when I think about it, even when I received Christ, I didn't do it at church.
You better stop it. You better, oh, come on.
I was at home.
Yes.
Because I had just left a Bible study, and and they had witnessed to my brother and stuff, and he was telling me all this. And as he was telling me this, you know, I was like, oh, okay. So I went in my room and got on my knees and, you know, prayed what he had just told me. I was at home at the time. So every experience I've had has been in an uncommon place.
Yes, ma'am.
You know,
yes,
for
ma'am.
me. And I'm like, wow, God, you have been ordering my steps, my steps.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the last 10 years, I decided I'm going to get in step with you because you've been knowing all the time where I needed to go. I'm going to go your way because I've been trying to do this my way and do what I think is right. I'm just going to go with that and let's do what you have planned. Yes. You know, and the doors and the roads that it's led me to, I'm like, all of this because of music?
Yes. Isn't that something?
That was what got me in the door.
Yes.
My love for music.
Yes, ma'am.
It opened up so many doors for what God had for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, and to be able to really see from a whole nother perspective what ministry is all about.
Okay, here come the tears. Here come the tears.
I always looked at it as a part of church, but ministry everywhere you are. This is ministry,
right?
You know, what you're doing, because we're talking about the Lord, the effect on our life, but everything that we look back to is connected to God.
Yes, all the time. And then when you think about it, Von, when you were saying when you had that moment, you were away from church, and it's God. Oh my goodness. I tell you, I try not to cry. I try so hard not to cry. But having that moment away from any denomination, any church, nobody but you and God. That's what you needed. And that's what's, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You were saying, you were saying that you didn't know anything about that, the Holy Spirit. You didn't know anything about that. So God planned it for you to be, it was just going to be you and him. And that's what gets me. And to feel that connection. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
People don't understand. And that's why I want you to explain that. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk because the tears are already starting. So from there,
meeting Andre Crouch, coming back to that later, that connection, which was, like I said, it was actually Sandra Crouch that we connected with through other friends, and she was embarking on doing her album and stuff, and we became intricate parts in that, her and my brother, and it just, that relationship was just something that was uncanny and phenomenal. I mean, we became like friends. I mean, it was just, it's crazy. It's like, these people, and these are like famous people, meeting the people that I did, Dottie Rambo, and all these gospel artists that you go, wow, being able to be in that company because someone that and they're familiar in that circle.
Right.
Now that circle becomes a part of you.
Right.
So meeting all these gospel giants and greats, and being around them and being able to say that that Andre was my friend.
Yes.
He was not just an artist or, I went to his church for a while he pastored. He wasn't just my pastor, but being a friend and connecting and, sharing life together, being on the road, doing
Right.
session stuff, because he was the one that introduced us and brought us into the Quincy Jones stuff, The Color Purple,
Right.
which Quincy then introduced us to Michael Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. I was waiting on
And
you to say
became-
that. Yes.
And that was a whole nother thing. You know,
Yes,
Quincy
ma'am.
did not do anything pretty much without the Andre Crouch singers.
That's right.
Neither would Michael after Man in the Mirror. He would
That's
not
right.
do anything without Andre's input and his singers.
That's right.
So everywhere we were, I mean, he took us to New York to record. He took us to New York to be with them on the award show that was
Yes.
at Radio City Music Hall. I mean, he did, you know, he was like, no, these people have to
That's
be
right. And that's
You
what's so funny because, once again, that connection with Sandra and Andre, it took, people would call because, and they didn't even, you don't have to audition. When you come, when they say, oh, Andre or Sandra, you know, come on up, come on over. And then they would use you over and over again for any and all recordings. And I remember Sandra would call my mom and say, you know, I need those girls, you know, come on out to here, you know, and it's like, wow. So the moment Michael Jackson calls you up to perform, that moment, Vaughn. Now, Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson,
right.
did it hit you then?
Yeah, because he was becoming the legend that he was, you know, the king of pop.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so he is already, to me, like, you know, with all the other stuff before, I was like, wow, Michael Jackson? Like, you're kidding, right? It's like the real Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
We're gonna go and sing. Okay. All right, if you say so. And, you know, and in walks Michael, and it's like, that's really the Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I don't think I could. I was kind of like frozen and stuff, you know, even pretty much the whole time recording stuff, because it was like, is this real? Am I gonna wake up? Somebody's pranking me,
Yes.
and I'm gonna end up waking up out of this dream. It's like, no, let me stay asleep as long as I, because I want to see what this is gonna be like. It was like, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And he's talking, you know, normal. And
yes.
And it's like, don't you understand you Michael Jackson? You're supposed to come in with, you know, with your outfit on, with the glove on. You're supposed to come in, you know? It's like,
Right.
you're supposed to come in with the shades and all of that, and you know, we're supposed to be clapping. We're supposed to be screaming. We're inside screaming, but it's like, and Michael Jackson is talking to you. Like, hey, hi, Vaughn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you know, but at that point too, you know, working with Quincy Jones, for me, that I think that's what opened the thing for Michael to where it was like, I kind of expect this now, because it's been phenomenal up until this. Sitting with Quincy Jones, we actually, when they were doing the making of The Color Purple, Quincy Jones and I are sitting in the middle of the floor and we're having a conversation. Just me and Q. And I'm going, you know, not thinking about it at the time, but it was like, wow, I can't believe that I'm actually sitting here with this man, with Quincy, the Quincy Jones. And we're just casually having this great conversation. Not just that, but as we're doing this session and getting it together and doing stuff, well, who drops by but Oprah Winfrey?
You know what?
Studio. Whoopi Goldberg. It's like, wait a minute, why are they coming in here? And it's like, oh my God, these are, you know, okay. This is just way too much. them coming in here. Can you tell them not to come in here? Because like they're making me nervous. I'm really nervous up in here. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wow, just take a breath, and they were so nice and so common.
Yes.
It wasn't like, kiss the ring because I'm whoever. It was like, hey, wow, what's up? Y'all sounding good and stuff. Oprah was like, ooh, I don't sing. I really wish I could because I really want to, be a part of this stuff. But I can't sing a lick. If I started singing, child, they would call the police or something. She was making jokes, and I was like, wow, okay, Whoopi Goldberg. That's the comedian of all comedians.
Right.
Here, just kind of taking it. Just being regular.
Yes.
Like, okay, God, which that learning that too. How to just be regular.
Yes.
When you're somewhere that you're like, I'm really here.
Yes.
Am I really here? Just knowing how to be regular and not letting all of that go to your head.
Yes.
Because I've been around so many great people that were so regular and common. They weren't wearing their own status or their own height.
Oh, you better say that again.
At all. So I'm like, wow, if they weren't doing that, then what makes me think I have the right to
exactly
be all of that? And
exactly.
Think, don't touch me, or who are you? I don't remember you. I don't know you. What? No, because they, these kinds of people have, whenever I see them, they speak.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's like, how many people were on that session, and you're gonna remember who I was?
That's what's so funny. That's the part that's so funny. It's like, you know my name?
Right.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yes. Ma'am.
To see them in other situations, and it's like,
they say hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
Wow. I was one of 30 or 40 people on there.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Wow. It would just floor me that, they would just be being common and remember, who they were around, or, taking all that in and stuff. It's like, wow, just common, everyday good folks.
Everyday good old folks. Okay. From Michael Jackson, as if you can go from Michael Jackson.
Yeah, right. Well, then the next phase was doing television. Which I was like, well, you said you really didn't want to do all that, but working on Amen for years.
Yes, ma'am.
With Sherman and that was phenomenal. We became the regulars for that show every time there was something needed, musically, and sometimes not even musically. We were, it was always, call Andre and his people.
Yes.
He became the musical director or supervisor for the musical show. So, that whole thing coming into TV and beginning to do, all that kind of the theme song to that, even, me coming into my very first commercial that I ever did. And I never would have thought, like I said, having a career is different, but it's like now you're doing like commercials, national commercials.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, this is a kid from Compton. I'm from Compton.
Yes.
And I'm doing all this stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm like, wow, Lord, you are truly amazing. I've touched every facet of this industry that I could, basically touch, and wow, my first commercial was a national commercial for Nike.
Yes.
So
yes, ma'am.
I was like, and I'm singing on that.
Wow. Yeah, that little 5-year-old in the church.
Yeah. That from Compton. Yeah. and all the hype you were hearing about Compton. It's like, yeah, Compton. I'm from Compton.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now everyone's coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, don't they?
With, where they're from, and stuff. I mean, I'm so proud of Compton.
Yes.
After watching Serena as the greatest player of all time, it's like she representing Compton.
That's right.
So she's representing Compton right there. And
that's right. People,
I'm glad to be attached to that.
That's right. People don't understand that they will try to down a heavily minority population city, but there is art, there is entertainment, there are teachers, there are educators, there are engineers, pilots, all of that.
Yeah.
So you can't downgrade us, and try to diminish the goodness of what comes out of a city, out of a state. You cannot do that because you're trying to suppress all of the good. You want people to be ashamed of Compton or wherever, whatever it is that people want to know. You can't take that away. You got to recognize. So that's why, you got these platforms where people, and like you said, Serena and Venus, they are coming in, changing that. You got people like you coming in here repping, changing that, and letting it be known, hey, you can't, don't try to, I am from there. I am from, I will never forget where I come from, and that's good. I'm glad you said that. I really am. Now, let's keep it going, because I want to hear to what led to tonight, and I want people to hear.
With Gladys, she like I said, she became such a great, intricate part of our lives and careers, and in helping to shape us and move us to what needed to happen. We whenever she would record or ever had anything to do in the studio, she would always call us in, we were right there to record. When she did decide to go solo, we were right there, recording her first couple of solo albums with her. When she decided to leave the Pips.
That was hard.
Yeah, it was a real hard decision for her. But she did, and we were the ones that she called. She was like, I'm gonna need some singers. She very creative. Musically she is very creative with stuff. I mean, the way she thinks and sees the vision of what she wants to happen on her stage and how it should go. And she was like, I want the Pips to go out in a bang. I want it to be big for them. If this is going to be it. So she was like, I want to get 3 singers that are going to kind of help singing with them. And they can focus on what they do and all the movement that they do. She's like, but I want them to really look good. Is basically what she wanted. So she came to us and was like, okay, I'm gonna need singers. You able to do this? And when they initially went out, I wasn't available. I was still doing other stuff, with other artists and stuff. I was like, wow, you're starting when? It's like, man, it's not gonna work out for me. And I really was like, wow, I hate that I gotta not do this. Because I really kind of want to. Patty was supposed to go, She ended up not end up going. So the singers that she ended up recommending, ended up going out and stuff. But she wasn't really satisfied with what was really happening out there. And it just wasn't working out for her. Vocally, it was not good. So she calls Patty back and she's like, okay, I got to change this. I got to, and Patty was like, well, yeah, call Vaughn and see, if she's available. And what's going on? Patty still had stuff that she was kind of doing. So she calls me and says, that she needs for me to come out, can I actually come out, join the tour and stuff? And I'm going, okay, this is the second time. I'm not missing it this time. I was like, you know what? I do have some obligations.
Yes.
I said, let me see if I can get out of them. If I can replace myself, I'm going to do that because I want to come out here and do that. I want to be out there on the road. So I said, let me get back to you. I'll call you back in a couple of days and I'll let you know how that's going to go. I started making phone calls to see about, replacing myself on gigs and stuff with people. And it started working out good. I said, there were some things I couldn't. I said, okay. I said, it's working out, but I won't be able to come out for another 10 days. I can't do it until then. She was like, okay, well, that's fine. We'll do what we're doing now. And, when you're able to come out, that'll be good. She's like, okay, I'm going to put my people in contact with you so you can let them know the dates and all the final information. I said, okay, but yeah, and I should be able to come out there in 10 days. And she did. She hooked me up with the people and I told them, yeah, I'm able to come out after this date and stuff. Went out and was like, wow, okay, I don't know anybody out here but Gladys and the Pips and Benjamin, who was still her musical director.
Yes.
Those were the only people I knew. So I was like, and she had left to go up into Canada to do something for a few days because they had this was their first time being off in a while and they had 2 or 3 days off. That's why I was going in to rehearse and try to get familiar with what she was doing on the road. So I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But her band was just as nice as she was. Ended up meeting them and ended up joining the tour with the Pips and stuff. And she says to me at the end of that, I think I did maybe about 6 months because they had started the tour. When I got on, it had been in 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 months. So we ended up, their last date was a New Year's Eve gig in Times Square, rocking New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And we were there, and she said to me, she says, well, this is it for us in the Pip. She says, but I'm gonna need singers when I go solo. I'm gonna need singers. She said, and I want strong singers, not necessarily the people that were there. She didn't think they were as strong. I said, okay, I'm gonna help you with that. Not a problem. I can help you find some people. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do this. So I said, okay. Alfie was recording then within RCA. Patty was doing something different. So they weren't available to come out and join the tour. But I ended up finding a couple other people that were great. The guy that she had was really good. And I was like, yeah, you should keep him. I said, let's just replace the other one. And we did. We replaced that girl. Got a real tight, real strong unit. She ended up adding dancers for her show.
Wow.
I ended up literally, again, her asking my mom. And I'm like, at this point, I'm 24, 23, something. She's still asking my mom if I can come to Vegas, and stay with her while we're rehearsing. So I literally moved into her house.
Wow.
I wasn't at the hotel with the rest of the band. Right?
Wow.
I was staying at the house, and I'm going, why I got to stay at the house? I've been out on the road before at this point. I'm not doing, But I mean, she took that to heart. It's like, no, I asked your mom, I'm going to make sure you're doing what you need to do.
Yes.
So I was there at the house with her, and the band was at the hotel. And I'm going, but I'm not able. I need to meet these people in jail with, you know. I literally there for probably like a month or so of the time that we rehearsed and stuff. Great. That helped solidify our friendship.
Yes.
You know, because I ended up helping her with all kinds of things, sometimes arrangements and stuff. Just sitting at her feet, listening to how she would put stuff together and how her mind would work with stuff. You know, I just really was able to, because I was there on a daily basis, really get into her head, you know, see how she was kind of doing things, you know. Like I said, I'm watching the whole time going, okay, yeah, I wish I could, you know, kind of do that, you know, kind of thing. And, you know, so just watching and being there, you know, like I said, at her house for all this time was like just learning so much, you know, when she opened up actually as just Gladys Knight. We opened up at Bally's in Las Vegas. That's where she did her opening, her reveal basically of the Gladys Knight.
Oh my goodness! With
dancers, the band, you know, singers. It was a whole different look from her and the Pips. Really, I mean, it was really grand. I was like, wow, you did a 360 stuff, you know. So it, you know, but still keeping the Pips thing, you know, let people know, you know, about the Pips and stuff. That's what we did all these years and stuff. But it just being there and her accepting me in his family, and not just her, her mom, you know, her sisters and brothers, her kids, you know, I was there with her, with all of her family. Yes. So I became family, right? You know, with her, right? Even with her family and all. So that was kind of blowing me away too. It's like, because now I'm a part of her family. Yes. You know, we're friends and we hang out. And, you know, was going to see concerts in Vegas. You know, when her friend, when Dion would be there, when all these people would come into town, we'd go. You know, I was going with her to go see them. That. You know, and hanging out and learning again from, you know, the best. Right. I'm like, wow. So, I mean, you know, that connection just put me in a whole nother genre of people and stuff, you know, that I actually got a chance to meet. But one of the best things I think that came out of the relationship with her was when we first went to Las Vegas and we were working with her artists down, and he was opening for people like Bill Cosby, Don Rickles. So I got a chance to meet all these people. Yes. You know, that he was opening for. She was down at another hotel, and her and the Pips, and they were working. So usually we would open for that artist, and we get in the car and we beat it down to the Latin where she was working, and we were watching her show like this, going, "Oh my God, I could just be that good." A little bit like that. I mean, just taking it all in, her whole show. So it's like we kind of knew her show and stuff because we run down there every time we get through with our show. Yes. You know, and hang out in between because we're doing 2 shows a night between shows, and run back up there and come back down, you know, and sit in the audience and just take it all in. She ended up, while at the Aladdin, she ended up getting hoarse. And Gladys is a trooper. She's like, I'm not gonna just not do it, you know. And that's what I've come to know her as, a trooper. I don't care what happened, you know. She was on a cast one time, you know, because she had ended up breaking her toe. She was like, but ain't nothing wrong with my throat. So she sat there and sang, you know, with the cast on. She didn't cancel no shows. So she had called us and said, you know, she wanted us to come over to the house and stuff for lunch. We were like, okay, great, anytime to hang out with her. And she was hoarse and, you know, was very, you know, talking and stuff. She says, but I got an idea. she said, because you guys have seen my show.
Mm-hmm.
She said, and I want you all to do it.
What?
We were like, oh no, that could never happen. We were all like nervous. She was like, yeah. It's like, you guys know it and you could do it. She said, and I'm gonna be there. We were like, we can't do your show. They would never just accept us doing your show. She was like, no, but I'm gonna be there. She said, y'all know the songs because you watch it every night.
Yes.
You know it. And we'll rehearse and stuff. And she had ideas and we were like, this cannot be happening.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
She's like, yeah, I'm going to be sitting on stage. She said, and that's what's going to make it good. As long as I'm there,
yes,
they'll accept you all.
Uh-huh.
But she sat there the whole time and we were singing all of her songs. Mm-hmm. She told us, which ones we would do and and all that in her show. She didn't sing anything.
She didn't sing anything. She let you guys do the whole show. The whole show.
2 nights. It could have been 3, but at least 2 nights. We did the whole show while she had no voice.
No.
I was so nervous. Everything in my body shut down, even my mind, because to when I try to remember back to it, it's like I remember standing there she had me and Bubba doing The Way We Were, and I remember standing there with Bubba, and the whole time he's got his arm around me, and he in my back, and he's going, come on,
yeah,
you do it, because I'm just nervous as all get out. Like, to sing this stuff, it's like, oh my God, this is not happening. Got through it, ended up getting through it, and people seem to receive us very well. Well, during those 2 nights, the Gap Band, 2 of the people from the Gap Band were there.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw that. And they approached us with a record deal.
Girl, stop it. That's how you got it? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, because they were there and they saw that and they were like, I can't believe y'all actually did this. Mm-hmm. And y'all wasn't nervous enough. Like, you didn't see us shaking. Child, I was shaking enough to, oh God. But they were like, wow, y'all are like phenomenal. Same thing again. So what do y'all do? We do, we do some top 40 stuff and, basically, that's kind of like what we do. Mm-hmm. And in the guy's show, he gave us a step out in a blues song. We all kind of took this blues song and just did it. He started it, and then we kind of took it over. Uh-huh. And eventually, from that, he ended up, whenever he was by himself, he did a gig by himself at the Dunes, and we became his opening act.
Girl.
For that. So we were, still and she was helping us choose material. Mm-hmm. She helped us put the whole show together. Not that she just helped us, but she was supposed to be working, and her gigs ended up getting canceled. Uh-huh. So she said, not a problem, because y'all can use my band since we're not working. So we had her band playing with us while we were at the top of the dunes, while we opened for the guy, Glenn, that was her artist, and her band was backing us. I mean, it was like I said, crazy. Who does this? Yes. Who does this? Just say, yeah, here, use my band because we're not working right now. And I'm gonna make it right for everybody. And
come on now.
Just crazy.
Come on now.
She was, Patty had just had the baby, had just had Shekinah.
That's my forever baby.
That's right. Everybody's forever baby. We all had that, I would be taking care of her most of the time. Yes, Gladys became the chief babysitter while we were working at the Dunes. She would most of the time either be in the room or have Shekinah at the house babysitting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just, like I said, common.
Yes, common folks.
Common courtesy, just everything. Like I said, we became so entangled with family and friends. Just, just craziness, to all of that, like I said, her opening doors that we never got the spotlight in her show. They would not have seen us to want to, sign us to a contract and stuff. Right. So it just, that whole relationship, with her, from that, for me, her starting her solo career, I ended up being with her for a good 15, 20 years.
That's right.
Before I even decided, well, there are other things that I do want to do. Can I at least go and try to do some stuff? Because I would usually, when she wasn't working, I would go and do other things with other artists. But
right. And wait a minute, there is one thing I wanna bring up that I heard you sing, and I was laid prostrate. You revised. No, not revised. I don't even think that's the word to use. I can't even figure out the word, but what you did with the song, Von, it was I'll Take You There by the Staples Singers. And I listened to it, and I remember it has a Jamaican reggae, the reggae feel to it, sound. And I remember, and forgive me, I'm gonna try this, I'm not you, but I remember your voice does things, Von. And you did something like, oh, I'll take you there. And that's nothing in comparison to what you did. And I went, you know what? And I truly just laid down after listening to it and went, this woman has taken this song to such another level for a whole nother genre. A whole nother, do you know what you do? That's all I can say. Do you know what you do?
I still don't, and I'm grateful to God for that, because that is a thing that I think that are in all the other people that I know that keeps them humble. Because I don't know to what degree my talent is or my gift is. I don't. So I'm humble to the Lord, because it's like, you have me in these places. And it's not just, a lot of times, it's me that you're taking there. I've met a lot of gifted singers. I've been around a lot of great singers that I'm like floored to be around, but still I get to, I'm going to places. People are asking me to do stuff, to sing, do, and I'm going, when I first got with Andre, you could not make me sing around like Tata Vega.
Oh, come on now. Yes.
Phenomenal talent.
Yes.
I wasn't going to sing around Crystal Merton,
Oh my God. Miss Lion
like,
King.
Oh my God.
Miss Crystal Lion King Merton. Come on now. Yes.
It's like, so to be around this kind of people, it was iron sharpening iron, because I would not sing for years. It would be like, you got singers to sing, with them, with Linda McQuarrie, with them. I don't, I'm just here. Let me do the little background stuff I'm doing, and I'm gonna be all right with that. But I'm not trying to sing with these people that I have looked up to for so long, and have had careers. I'm not trying to tangle with that, at all. But, I hear people say a lot of times, a lot of people will tell me, it's like, wow, you sound like Gladys. And I'm like,
yes, you do.
No, because we have two different, I analyze and I go, we have two different ranges. She sings low, I sing pretty high. I don't see where that is. But if you think about it, for the last
Yes.
40 years, because I've been knowing her now for about 42 or 3 years. That's the voice that's in my head.
Yes, ma'am.
She's been in my ear every night. I hear her. So I've taken on some of that.
That's right.
That I don't even know that I've taken on. I've taken some of that on with what was already in with me.
Yes.
And it just comes out, like she is. I mean, she's the greatest storyteller. With music. She can tell a story. And I mean, I was like, when she first did I Will Survive.
Yes.
The ballad. I said to her, I was like, I never knew that story. Because it was just a ballad, not just saying, it was up tempo. You just danced to it.
Right.
When she sang it, I was like, I didn't know it was saying all that. I didn't know that it was that great. It's a great song. But until she made it a ballad and I heard the lyrics and the story that she told, I was like, wow, that's a great song. But I never would have known the story had she not made it a ballad.
Right.
And told the story like she wanted to tell it.
Yes.
Like she can.
That's how I felt hearing you do I'll Take You There. I actually heard the lyrics, and it's so funny you just said that, because that explains exactly how I feel hearing that song. And those are the words I was looking for. Because I couldn't, because I had never, you hear the song and you hear the, like, oh yes, I'll take you. It's like, but you gave it something completely different where I could, and everyone who hears it hears the lyrics and tells the story. That's what you do. You're describing what she does, and people, and the same, but you do the exact same thing. I learned from the best. Like I said, I sat at that Aladdin and was like this. And even now, to this day, I'm listening to her, tell a story, and her singing something. That's what I learned from her. I was saying to a couple of the other singers that sing with me, I said, what I learned from her, and the newest singer that's there now, that has been there since I've been back now a little over a year, and we came back at the same time. I said, what I learned from her all these years was to be consistent. She's consistent. Every night, she will pretty much sing the song the same way. What changes is her mood or just her expression of it, but pretty much is consistent every night. And I was like, and she said that. She was like, most singers every night they want to do something different. Yes.
When you find what works, stick to that. When you find what works, and that's kind of like what she's done. What works every night for her, and with the audience, she's consistent to it. Like I said, she may feel it a little differently, place it a little differently, but musically, the notes are the same.
The exact same.
And I'm like, wow. So I've learned that from her. Be consistent. Find what works for you in a vocal, and be consistent with that. You don't have to change it every night, because most of the time you end up losing the consistency that you have with it, or the right vocal path for it, because you're looking to be different, or whatever. But find what works for the song and do that and perform the song. So many things.
It makes so much sense. It really does.
Yeah, she's I'm like I said, I'm still in awe, and I'm still learning, even since I've been back here. And I every night I'm looking and listening to what she's doing. You know, and it's like, wow, you know, okay.
Look at that.
You know, when she does something, I can usually tell when she does something a little bit different. Like I said, I hear this every night. So for me, it's like playing a tape recorder, and she'll do something a little different, and I'll be like, okay. I was like, listen, that you feeling something a little bit different tonight. You know, but overall, it's great and it's consistent. You know, and I watch the audiences respond to her.
Yes.
You know, because she's still that Southern girl. You know, that hospitality. Hi, y'all.
Yeah.
She's not trying to put on airs for her Southern accent. She's just being her, and you love her for that. Everybody that I know, you know, refers to her as, you know, Auntie Gladys.
Yes, yes.
She's like your auntie, because she's gonna always want to feed you.
Yes.
You know, and that kind of thing. So, you know, it's like, I mean, people just love her because she's who she is.
Right.
She's just herself. You know, she's not gonna try to put on airs or speak differently.
Right.
You know, we were talking about something, and she was like, because she's always loving to cook, and the girl that's here now is like, you gotta taste her cooking. I said every time I would come in, I would tell her what I really wanted.
Yes.
And she was gonna prepare that.
Oh,
I
Lord.
love her cooking.
And before you get on this, because my mind is on this. Can you ask her to send me just a bowl of banana pudding, please?
Ooh, I'm telling you, I am telling you, that woman can cook, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, you put everything she does, she just puts her whole self into it, you know. And we were having like a couple of days off, and I was like, well, you can. I said, all you gotta do is go to the store and get some, you know, get whatever it is that you need to cook. I said, we at the hotel, because she used to commandeer kitchens at hotels.
Really?
She'd go in the kitchen and she would cook for us. She has cooked Thanksgiving meals for us when we've been out, you know, for holidays, Thanksgiving and stuff. She has just taken over the kitchen and cooked us a meal, you know, served it to us and everything, because we're working on holidays.
Yes.
She's family oriented.
Yes.
You know, so you become family. That means I got to feed you to people, you know, kind of thing, you know, all the time. So, you know, she's always going to make sure that we're fed, you know, and everything. But she was like, she said, she said, I got to go to the store. I said, you got to go to the store. She said, no, I got to go to the store. And I'm like, that is so her. And because the other girl is with us, she's from Atlanta also. And I was like, ooh, y'all sound so much alike.
Okay.
that accent, that Atlanta thing. I like,
yes.
You know, and she's homegrown, you know, born and raised in Atlanta. And I'm like, you and her, y'all are so funny. And so me and the other girl, we be trying to you know, sound like they do and stuff. Like, y'all are just, you know, but she's that way on stage. People just love her. You know, she ain't gonna say, you know, good evening, how are you doing? She's gonna be like, hi, y'all.
Yes.
How y'all doing? I'm so glad to see you.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm, you know, she's not like, you know, well, good evening. You know, are you having a great time?
Right.
She's just her.
Yeah. She's gonna show her who she is. She doesn't forget. She will never forget who she is and where she comes from. Never. And that's what's so amazing. And that's why she is a legend.
Yes. And she's still around. You know, this is her third time coming to the White House.
No way.
Because she was there doing it with Bill Clinton. He had her there. When Obama was there.
Yes.
She was there. And now Joe Biden. You know, we're back here doing something again at, you know, the White House. Wow, 3 city presidents have had you to come here.
Yes.
So you got something, Mama. You got some kind of homegrown something that they have to invite you up here to sing a little something. You
gotta be. You gotta know what you're doing for the White House to commission you.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, Black Caucus. It's like, ain't y'all trying to like set some rules and do some things and make some motions or doing some stuff? Why we got to come in? And you just ask her to come in and do a little bit of some midnight train or some, best thing that ever happened. Yes. It's like, yeah, let's just have her come here and give us a break for, a little while, 30 minutes or so, and just sing some music. Like, okay, you have got to be for them to keep calling you.
Yes, you got to know a little bit something. You got to know what you're doing.
You must be doing something right, And now, in December, you're going to get a Kennedy Honors.
Oh.
So you're doing something. Your career has been doing something, lady.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh,
and I'm just honored. I'm honored to be around her, to, in my lifetime, to be able to say that I've been with a legend. Yes. And not just her, because being connected to her, that has connected me to Patti LaBelle, which is another living legend, and connected me to Dionne Warwick.
Yes.
Then the other we have 3 living legends,
yes,
that are still here in our present. And because of her, I've had the privilege to have company with those ladies, and it's like, this is history. Those 3 ladies to be able to, and like I said, when they see me, they speak and they, and I'm like, y'all are living legends. To know that it amazes me, because she does have stuff in the African American Museum.
Yes.
They have a place, but so does Andre Crouch.
That's
and
right.
Like, these are like my friends.
Yes.
These are like my best friends.
Yes.
And they're in history.
Yes.
They're in the museum.
But do you realize you are a legend? Do you know this? Do you realize that your voice, your presence is in those awards? You are history. You're just, this is,
wow.
You don't see that?
When we did my brother's group did a reunion some years back, and for the audience purpose, if they didn't know who the ensemble was by their own music, we did a section of you know us by the music that we've recorded.
Yeah.
So we did snippets of all this stuff of Michael, of the Commodores, all the hit records and hit stuff that our voices have lent to, our sound has lent to all these years. And a lot of people were kind of amazed by that. I was, even when we started making up the list, it was like, there's a lot of stuff. We can't do all of this stuff, so we need to pick the most, current or the most known to put in this show, because we can't be up here for 2 hours just singing those, if we sing 8 bars of everything, we'd be up here for a long time.
Yes.
So, we have to take the best out of that. But yeah, I've been the privilege to be on a lot of recordings, a lot of television, movie stuff, and audience with a lot of people. But I'm still grateful to God.
Yes.
Because I know that it was nothing about me specifically. He gave me a gift. And with that gift, he ordained places for me in that gift.
That's right.
And I know that it wasn't just by my talent and who I am alone. I didn't arrive here. It was definitely him who had ordained this path from the very beginning. And I'm grateful to that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm here doing this stuff, and at this age in the game, still being called.
Yes, ma'am.
We just did a couple of rap things. I didn't even know who the rappers were, but I was like, we're still getting called for sessions. There was a lot of younger kids and they were looking to us, they was like, these are the real OGs. Let's take some pictures with them. And I was like, I've never been called that in my life. I don't know if I should take that to be offensive. I was like, yeah, y'all got one more time to call me an OG. But I was like, you know what, man? This is who it is. Accept it.
Right.
I'm grateful even for that you recognize me for that.
That's right.
But it's like, God, this is what I am. I'm an OG.
That's you an OG. You are an OG. Did you hear me when I said use an OG?
Yes. I'm grateful to God that, as long as I'm here on the earth and he finds pleasure in that.
Yes.
And has people to keep calling me for stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing it, until he says, okay, well done. You can come on home now.
Yes.
But I consider it honor every time I get to do something. It's like, really, I'm doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I had to put it on Facebook. It's like, that's just for my own memory, so I can see it later and go, you actually went there?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. You're going to hopefully get to shake the hand of the vice president?
Yes. Yes.
And I just, when she got voted in, I was like, I'm telling y'all, the future.
Yes.
She is making Black women proud right now.
Every single day. And that's why I'm like, Vaughn, I'm so proud of you. I really, really am. And I'm in awe of you. I just can't. There are not enough words to describe how I feel knowing and seeing you from way back to now, and to see your growth, and even in your ministry, seeing that, when we get on the prayer line on Mondays, and when Sandra says, Vaughn, come on and say something. And I know I literally, because I'm 3 hours away from LA, and I get up in the bed, pull up the pillows behind me, because I know I'm about to start crying, because you get on there and you just preach, and you touch my heart to seeing this, because you got to understand, as a little kid, I was sitting there doing this when you were singing and up there performing. So to see how all of this, from you working, me looking like, fine, I'll just, at night, we sit there and we Google people's names, and I'm like, Vaughn? I didn't know this. And I'm like, wow, Vaughn, you're a legend.
Wow.
You are.
Ooh, thank you, Jesus.
I want to give you your flowers now. You're spectacular. You're my Auntie Vaughn, but you are also Vonciele, the voice. You are the voice. And it's just, and I told you, this is stuff that makes me cry to see how all of this is taking place. But you still got that, you got God in you too.
Yes. Hallelujah.
And you sing for kings and queens and presidents and rulers of nations. You work with the king of pop. You work with these superstars, and you're a superstar. Iron sharpens irons, as you say.
Yeah.
You are a part of everyone's history that you've worked with. You've gotten those awards. Those awards are because of you.
Wow.
You at that 5-year-old singing in your daddy's church. You never thought that you would be doing this, but you're doing it. And you don't forget telling that story about the first time you were singing at 5. You know?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You don't forget, you know? And that's the part. It's like, I'm sitting there on the other side going, I'm that 12-year-old girl every time I see you, and I'm like, I never stop getting chills. I never stop going, wow, that's my Auntie Vaughn up there. I remember watching them telephones and you guys being on it. I remember watching you guys on stage. I remember being on stage with you guys.
Right.
But I'm on stage looking at you guys. You know? I'm like, so I will never not be that little girl admiring you and looking at how far you come. And
Wow.
you know my name.
Yes,
So you know my name, and I'm looking at you like, you remember me? You so everything that you have come on here and said how you feel when these legends know you, that's me. You're describing me about you. And I don't ever want you to forget that. It is an honor knowing you. It is a blessing hearing you minister through your voice. That's a gift from God. Your voice is a gift from God.
Yeah.
And every time you sing, every time we feel that. We feel that you are blessing us with what God gave you. You're sharing your gifts. And that, come on.
Wow. You know,
Come on.
your mom would be really proud of you
Oh, don't
for
do that
all
to
that
me.
you've done.
Don't do that to me, Vaughn. Please don't.
But she would really be proud of you, because I'm proud of you. I am so glad. I remember when Patty first told me that you were doing interviews and stuff. I was like, all right, that's really good. I'm glad for her. I'm happy for her. I'm proud. You know, when we see people that we came up with,
Right.
you up through the ranks with, and
Right.
they do good. It's a reflection of you, because it's like you're connected to
Right.
that. So when you do good, I do good. You know, so I'm really happy. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know you. I want whatever I need to do
Yeah.
for my friends. I'm going to do that. That's why God, I feel, places people in your life.
That's
you
right.
know, as friends. It's like whatever I can do to help, then I'm gonna do that. Just call me up, and I'm gonna be a part of that. You know,
Yes.
I want to see my friends do well. You know, if I'm gonna do well, I want to see my friends do well. You know, I thank God for the gift. I do, and I thank Him every day for the gift. I'm grateful. I'm more grateful for the doors that it has opened, and for the people that He's connected me to.
Right.
You know, I've been connected to. I know that there's more than, like I said, the voice basically has opened the door.
Right.
Music has opened the door. But I know the ministry that's behind it. You know, and I know I'm here because I prayed for, ever since the pandemic, I've been praying for Washington, for things to change, to see a change in that, to see what God would do there. And He has kept bringing me here to DC, and every time I would, it's like I just be praying. It's like, because I want to see something really change, and I know it's not about me, but it's the spirit that I carry that needs to be in that room. You know, tonight, and I know that's why I'm there. It's the spirit that I'm carrying that needs to be in that room, and to for us to really see and to understand change. I'm going to be praying.
A change is going to come. A change is going to come.
It's
You
going
hear that?
to
And that's what I want you to sing too. I want you to record that, even if it's just for me. A change is going to come.
That's a good song. You know what? I will surely think about that one, because that's a good, and it's timely.
Yes.
Right now, that message I think is needed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Don't get me to preaching. You know that. Ma'am, this has been such an honor. You have no idea how much this means to me to have you on here for a lifetime. This is going to, when both of us are at home, seeing Jesus' face, this is going to be around for people to see and to get to know you and know the Auntie Vaughn that I know, and to hear about your career and how this little girl from Compton is still here and has I get tongue-tied because I'm trying not to cry. So I try to talk to myself and not use the words that because I know me. But I am, and as I said earlier, I'm in awe of you and your gifts and how you share them, and you don't forget that you are your parents' child. You are a sister. You are a niece. You are a grandchild. You are a sister, friend, auntie. And this has just been, I'm so excited for this to air. I really am. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
You're very welcome. Anytime you call.
Yes, baby. Yes.
Do whatever. So I will do it.
I love it.
I will do whatever it is I need to do. I thank you, though, too, for asking me. I do. I thank you for that.
Oh,
God bless you in this whole thing, that you're doing. God really bless you and touch your ministry and everything that's connected to you.
Amen.
God to really bless that and just open up doors.
Yes, amen. I receive that. Woman, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have filled me. You have filled me for this day, this whole weekend. I think I want New Year's to start, because I think you have ended my year for me. Thank you, woman. I love you dearly.
All right, I love you too.
Amen. This episode was so good that we have part 2. I love it, Vaughn.
Yeah, my long-winded self.
No, I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, Vaughn. This is a new segment that I'm introducing. These are the hot fire questions. You got only one answer, and we're going to have for each question, and you got to answer it right away. Ready?
Yeah.
Favorite city to visit?
New York.
Favorite food?
Soul food.
One word for Gladys Knight.
Phenomenal.
Gina Vanelli.
Exceptional.
Hawkins.
Legendary.
Quincy Jones.
I don't know if there's a word yet for who he really is. Because that's like, wow. Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
King of pop. Just a king.
That's right. Now I'm stumped. Your favorite niece?
Well, I would say you.
Oh, me?
Of course. Of course. Oh.
My last question. Your favorite food to cook?
It would probably be grilling some salmon.
I'm coming over for dinner. I'm flying out. I'm flying out. All right, my auntie, I love you. Thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Enjoy. Tell the Vice President we are all proud of her.
Yes. I can't wait to tell her that.
Yes, please. Bye.
Bye.